Jordan. I'm a licensed professional counselor and I'm the owner of A Unique Perspective. Welcome to my videos. These videos are intended to make mental health concerns relatable, to also just help you navigate, boost your mood, and just kind of sort through some things, right? So today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips on how to find your therapist in your community. Hopefully you've checked out my previous video where I'm showing the who, what, whys, and whens in terms of who I am as a therapist. So this video is to help you kind of get through and sort through finding your person. All right, but first things first, I kind of want to explore, what does a therapist mean? Who is a counselor? What is a psychiatrist? And what is a psychologist? I get this question a lot of times, and I just wanted to give some explanations as to what a therapist slash counselor can do versus what we cannot do. So, therapist and counselor will be used interchangeably throughout my video today, simply because they are synonymous with one another in the mental health field. However, when you get into hearing someone may say, I'm an LPC or I'm an LCPC, that means that they are either have a master's degree or doctorates. They've had thousands of hours of clinical experience, and they also took a accreditation examination nationwide to show, like, yeah, I got this, I know what I'm talking about, boom. So they pass with flying colors. So that level in terms of LPC or LCPC, whatever state that you're in, just understand that for the most part, they took a lot of clinical hours and they took accreditation tests to say, boom, we got it. All right, so what can a therapist slash counselor do? A therapist can definitely give an assessment to you and give you a diagnosis, whether it be related to the ICD-10 or the DSM-5. We can also work with you to develop a treatment plan. What is a treatment plan? A treatment plan is something that you come in saying that I, myself, the client, I want to work on this. This is not our goals. This is not how we want to drive our therapy sessions. This is all about you and what your presenting concerns are. And just, how you want to wrap up therapy feeling each time that you come in to say, like, I worked on these things today. Lastly, what we can do, as I'm sharing right now, just have that talk therapy. You can bring in your mama. You can bring in your cousin. You can talk about coworker issues. You can definitely, share adjustment concerns. And you can talk about 2020 because that was a big, big shift for us. So anything that has been keeping you up at night, that has been preoccupying your mind, kind of interrupting your day-to-day processes, we can explore that in your sessions. Okay? Simple enough, right? What a therapist slash counselor cannot do, we cannot provide any psychological testing. So that would be like intellectual testing, personality testing, achievement tests, etc. That is something that more of a psychologist with their doctorate degree can provide for you. Another thing that we cannot do, we cannot prescribe medication. So that will be something that you would hit your psychiatrist up for. However, in certain states, again, check with your jurisdiction, that psychologists can provide medications. But heavily in our field, it will be your psychiatrist. And the last thing that a therapist or a counselor cannot do, we cannot wave a magical wand over you to cure you. Trust and believe, if I knew where they were selling those wands, I would have one for myself. All right, so let's get into these tips in terms of how you can find your therapist or counselor. Number one is being honest with yourself. So just as much as, we are in tune with our bodies when we have a physical ailment or a physical symptom, we know, something's a little off about us, we go to a medical professional. This can be used the same when you feel as though, man, mentally I'm drained, emotionally I just feel warped. I need to go to speak to someone. So this is your body again communicating to you, whether it be, you're sleeping more, you're eating more, you're isolating. These are symptoms, or, even distractibility. Again, these are symptoms of your body communicating that, hey, something's a little up. Let's check into this, okay? So you may need to see a therapist or a counselor. Number two, so bear with me because number two, there's a lot of different steps involved in this when we talk about insurance versus non-insurance. It's a doozy. But let's start off by communicating what programs are available to you if you are employed. Your employers may be signed up with what's called an EAP, that is Employer Assistance Program. Within this, there's so many different offers that's included, but most importantly, what we're going to talk about today is mental health. So EAP will provide you, and check with your employer, 4 to 6 free sessions. Who doesn't like the free? I know I definitely do. So I would encourage you to explore your free sessions. Take advantage of that. They can address the same things. These are counselors and therapists that can work with you on substance abuse, again, parenting, divorce, marital concerns, anything that you would explore with like a community or a private counselor. You can do that through the EAP program. Please take advantage of it because, again, it's free. Why not? All right, so let's talk about those of us who have insurance. So, every enrollment, and this is important, every enrollment year, you want to really look into what plan you are selecting when it comes to deductibles, when it comes to network providers. Just that accessibility is huge. I know it's a lot of information to take in, and it's like, I'm just going to choose whatever is the cheapest or most affordable, but we really, really need to take a look at, what are all of the factors that play into this plan. All right, so you selected your plan, boom, right? But if you're like me, I typically lose my insurance card. Don't tell nobody. But, it's time to dig in the drawers and those jeans that you ain't worn in 2 years, or whatever the case may be. Dig in the bottom of your purse. Find your insurance card, okay? And on the back of your insurance card, there's going to be a number that you need to contact. So when you're reaching out to the insurance provider, you're going to, listen to the representative that's going to be like, press one, boop, 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 bop, bop, boop. You're going to press benefits because you want to know, again, what options do I have within the plan I've selected. So when you get a representative on the phone, you're going to, again, communicate, I want to explore my benefits in relation to behavioral supports, or you can say mental health, and they'll know exactly what you're talking about. So one of the things you want to determine is there a pre-authorization associated with me receiving behavioral services? This is also important. Pre-authorization is basically you having to go to your primary care physician, getting a referral for mental health services. In that communication with your PCP, you're going to let them know, hey, I need 3 months of therapy, possibly. I might need 6 months. And your primary care physician is going to write on that referral, again, the need for this support. You're going to take that referral and you're going to fax it back to your insurance provider under behavioral supports. So make sure you get that number too, okay? So this referral needs to be on file because otherwise, whenever you find your therapist or your counselor, if that pre-authorization ain't on file, baby, you cannot be seen and that therapist cannot bill for the services. So it's extremely important that you, again, get this referral. So boom, we got that out of the way. Some of us, again, may not need that. What is important also for you to determine is what is my copayment? So a copayment is basically a fee that is determined by your insurance, not by the therapist or the counselor, associated with the service that you'll be receiving. So there's different copayments depending on the level of care. So when I say level of care, I mean, are you going in the office? Will this be telehealth? Are you going inpatient? Are you going outpatient? Hospitalization, all of these things, right? And I'll definitely come up with a video explaining levels of care because it's levels to this. Okay? So you want to know, what is my copayment? Again, that expectation in terms of you seeking a counselor, they're going to look for that each visit. Boom. So now we know what our copayment is. The last thing I want to say in exploring your benefits is determining if there is a deductible associated with the plan you selected. Some of us, our deductible does not impact behavioral services. For some of us, it does. So that means that we may have to meet a certain amount that we've selected in the beginning before our insurance kicks in and pays for the mental health services. So the representative on the telephone can definitely break it down to you in terms of, individual deductibles versus family deductibles, and what do you need to meet versus what do you not need to meet. So all of these questions are imperative. Boom. So that is someone that you are selecting or exploring within your network of insurance. But let's say, okay, I don't want to go with, the providers that are within network. There's somebody that speaks to me, I love them, but again, they're not in the network of my insurance provider. So you want to explore, out of network benefits. You want to ask them when you're on the phone, hey, is there a reimbursement that I can receive if I select an out of network provider? Some insurances offer this, some of them do not, but it's always helpful to ask because, you want to get some money back. Now, when it comes to out of network providers, what you're going to do whenever you select your therapist or counselor, you have to pay their base rate up front. So let's say, for instance, it's $125. So when you go to them, again, because they're out of network, you got to pay that $125. And in turn, what you're going to ask them, hey, can you provide me with a super bill? A super bill is basically a receipt. So once you get your receipt, thank you for the services, you're going to then turn that into your insurance provider and, get your reimbursement back. Now, the therapist counselor can submit that for you, but some of them select for you to do that independently. So it's about, having a conversation with the therapist in terms of how they manage super bills. But at the end of the day, you can get a reimbursement if your insurance provider is with it. Okay? All right. So those are folks who have insurance. Let's talk about those who do not have insurance. Like, what can I do? So for those who do not have insurance, I strongly urge you to either apply for Medicaid. Medicaid is income driven. So not only can you, provide, or not only can you access mental health services, but you can also get some health services included in that as well. I would also encourage you to explore community-based programs because they can provide affordable cost. If they're federally funded, it may again be income driven, and it might be a free accessibility that you have. Okay, I will also speak to that therapist or counselor and see if they have a sliding scale. Sliding scale again is income driven, so based upon how much you make annually, they can work with you in terms of, okay, this is what you are expected to pay within your means. Okay, I'm also going to note that you can reach out to Openpath Collective. Openpath Collective is a provider that, again, has a directory of counselors who have signed on to say, I am providing affordable prices to those within the community. Okay, so that is also an avenue that you can explore. Insurance. It's a fool sometimes, but the resources are there. Boom. All right, so now we know, okay, what is the expectation for me to pay? So the third thing that you want to do is create a monthly budget. So now that you know what is the expectation in terms of how much you may have to pay, like we do with groceries, leisure activities, travel, clothes, gym memberships, it's also important to include, okay, how much can I afford realistically monthly for mental health services? So what you're going to do is whip out that Excel sheet. If you don't have it, create one, okay? Budgets are important. So you want to determine, all right, how much, hypothetically, would it look like for me to have 4 sessions a month? Can I afford maybe only 2 sessions a month? And when you're determining, how many sessions, you can afford, later you can have that conversation with your counselor to be like, okay, based upon the symptoms or based upon my presenting concerns, how often do you think I should come? So what I would suggest, again, do budget of how much you can afford for 4 sessions a month versus 2 sessions a month, and play with those numbers and see how you can fit it in. Boom. Number 4. So here's the fun part. It's the exploration. It's the going through websites to figure out like who is speaking to me. So there's so many platforms that you can use. So if you have insurance, your insurance providers has a directory on their websites in terms of people within your local neighborhood that can provide those services to you. Again, those are your in-network providers. So they may have a picture, they may have a paragraph. Some insurances do a paragraph in terms of their specialties, what their philosophies are. A lot of them don't have it, but you may stumble upon that your insurance provider has that, okay? So other resources that you can use Psychology Today, Therapy for Black Girls, you can use BetterHelp, Talkspace, all of these different avenues to, figure out, okay, who is out there for me, right? And even with these searches, you can specify, again, concerns that you may have, ethnicities that you are interested in, tapping into. So just to kind of like refine your search, because it becomes overwhelming sometimes when you see like page 100 at the bottom and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to go through all of these. So see if there's a way that you can, refine your search so that you don't have to stumble through all of those pages to find someone, okay? So when you're looking at these profiles, do your research. You know what I mean? Like, we know how to go to Google and type in people's names and definitely like get to the heart of it. So look at their websites, all of that jazz, right? So that you can figure out like, do I like them? Another good thing is that some of them have video introductions. So like a 15 little second intro, you can see their face, you can hear their voice, because that's important too, to be like, can I listen to you for 50 minutes? So, definitely, again, do your research on these folks, okay? All right. So the fifth tip, now that we have done our exploration, we've gone through different websites, to find our person, narrow down your top 3 people, okay? So with these persons, what you're going to do, you can either email them or call them and ask for a consultation. So within this consultation, they last between 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to be sharing, again, the presenting issues. I have racing thoughts. My sleeping has been off. I have unaddressed childhood concerns that I want to talk about that's coming up in my present day relationships. All of these things you're going to, again, share within that 15 to 20 minutes. But I will also recommend for you to create a list of questions that you have, because this isn't, just an interview for the therapist to see, like, can they take you on? This is a time for you to determine, do I want you to enter into my space? Because, therapy is a very vulnerable and intimate space to be in with someone. So you want to know, like, again, do we vibe? Do we click? Will you be able to meet some of my needs? So questions that you can ask is like, what is your experience with X, Y, and Z? You can also ask, after our times, Can I contact you? If I have an issue that crops up between our sessions, are you available? These kinds of questions, please ask, because you want to feel confident about who you're selecting as your provider. Okay. So now that we've done all of those things, it's time to narrow down that one person that's going to be like your cheerleader. Therapy is so awesome. It really just provides that space for us to be heard, for us to be seen. Again, not just heard, but listened to, because a lot of people hear us, but they don't listen. So, this is, again, a space that you are cultivating with someone. So just feel at ease knowing that, man, I am doing my thing. I got me, and then I have somebody else in my corner that's like, I got you too. So my final thoughts are, it can be a tedious process to find a therapist or a counselor, but it's possible. People that are like myself are out here and they're ready, waiting for you to just, email us, pick up the phone, whatever you got to do. Come find us, okay? So all of the resources that I've given today, I'm going to put in the box below. Definitely comment, like, share, subscribe. So please come back next time. We're going to be, having a lot of fun in these videos, and again, getting to the heart of your